Hey folks, this is John Barclay again, fresh off of a Nick webinar, which hopefully was beneficial for many of you who might have watched it. And I started working on another image today from a recent trip up to the Poconos. And I was going to do a blog post and show screen captures, and then it dawned on me this would be a great image to show the power of post-processing and being able to save an image that well, maybe save's not the right word, but be able to enhance an image where you just weren't getting what you'd hoped for. I was waiting and waiting for sun to blast here. I was leading a workshop, and I was going to be late to meet with the group for breakfast, and they were waiting for me, and so I finally just made the capture, which all fit within one shot. But as you can see, it's rather lifeless. So here's the image just out of camera raw. And let's just show you how great some tools are from my good friends at Nick again. I'm going to look at a couple of things here from within Nick Color Efex Pro. And I'm going to go right to a new one that I just really love and I spoke a lot about today, and that's Nick's Color Efex Pro, and specifically the tonal contrast filter. Let me just show you quickly how amazing that is right away. Here's before. And here's after. The standard settings, by the way, here, I'll type them in 30, 30, and then 20. This is the standard. Sometimes it can be a little over the top, so I have these down to about 25 today. I'll go back and change these. Maybe you can see the switch, and I'm going to bring that down to about 15 on the saturation, because we're going to also use Nick's Viveza to enhance this and make it look as though the sun was shining. It's interesting because you can see the sun in the brightness of the clouds here, and then you have some darkness in this V, which I think is rather interesting in this image and makes it. So that's what I'm going to do with Nick's Color Efex Pro, is use the tonal contrast for now, and we'll let that apply. And now I'm going to go into Viveza, Nick's great Viveza, which to me, well, everything Nick makes is essential, but if I had to pick one, and oftentimes people ask me that question, this would be the very first one I would buy. And so here we are with their U-point technology. I'm going to click on a control point. I'm going to go right into these trees. I'm going to make my circle a little bit smaller, and I'm going to start adding some saturation to those trees. And I'm going to brighten them up just a little bit as well. Add a little bit of contrast. And then, as you know, we can, or maybe you don't know, you can control. How about you can do Alt or Option? Sorry about that. Alt or Option. And I can drag that control point to other places in the image. So I'm going to grab it to a few places and make sure the tonalities I want are covered. There we go. So now we've done a nice job of adding what looks like a little blast of sun along that shoreline. But let's keep in mind, over here it was dark. Okay, so I don't want that to go away, and I'm actually going to darken it a little bit because I think it makes it more dramatic to do so. So just a little bit of darkening there so that this really gets set off and looks a little brighter. Once again, if you want to adjust all of these, I draw a marquee by clicking and dragging around all of them. It selects them. I go up to the top right, and I hit Group. Now if I want to do a little bit more work on that and brighten it up just a touch more, I can. If I want to add a little bit more saturation, I can. So now I'm affecting all of those points I put over here because I put a marquee around all of them and hit the group command. And I think what I'm going to do is add just a little bit of structure to that tree line as well. See that? Oh, that's nice. Okay, one last thing I want to do is I want to accentuate this darkness in the sky, because I think that's an interesting feature that's going on in this image. So I'm going to make my circle a little smaller and just darken down this a little bit so that you can actually see that dark trail in the sky, which is created by a shadow in the clouds. It's very cool, and I think it's worth putting in there. I'm just going to see if I can cancel that out a little bit. What I did is I put in a small point here, what we call an anchor point, because some of that sky move I did was bleeding on in here. So by putting an anchor and doing nothing to that anchor point, in other words, not making any slider changes, it canceled out some of that which was done on these, or actually this particular point, and make sure it wasn't affecting it here. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. Let's go a preview here. We go before and after. Isn't that amazing? So if we understand the tools that we have, we can all of a sudden take an image from here and bring it to here. And then if we wanted to, we could go back into tonal contrast again. So let's go up to here. I'm sorry, no, I want to go into foliage. We already did tonal contrast. Go into foliage, and what's cool about foliage filter is it'll only affect, watch, you'll notice that it's only going to affect this here along the side. See that? It just adds a little bit of brightness to the yellow leaves, and some of the greens pop again a little more, once again making it look as though the sun had just kissed those trees and leaves there. So there you go. I thought that was a worthwhile demonstration, a quick one to show you how you can start from this, use the Great Nick tools to add in some tonal contrast, then use Viveza to make it look like some sun hit it, then use the foliage to just add a little bit more pop and drama into those leaves, and there you go. A wonderful finished product, all using Nick's great software.